What's up guys, it's Bradley Overrated bringing you another review, and today we review the game Flower, what is arguably the most mesmerizing game you could ever play on the PS3 or the PS4, and let's just jump into it. So if you're wondering what the idea behind Flower is and the concept, it is one of those kind of relaxed type of games, kind of not, where you don't really have necessarily a story or a narrative that drives the force. The entire force is your ability just to essentially explore the world and the environment around you. You play not actually as a flower, but as a single petal that is just basically being thrown against the wind, or rather your own wind, because you control where you move, and you collect other petals from other flowers. And as you do this, you will slowly be able to open up the environment around you and essentially bring it back to life. It's a simple concept that is executed nearly to perfection. And I don't know how they pulled this off, because it is just mind-boggling to me how collecting petals while you play essentially as the wind, because you're floating in the air, is this exhilarating. I'm not even joking. It is just so much fun to just fly around, or rather float around, and collect petals. And not only that, when you collect all of these petals, and at the end of the level you actually get a grade essentially, because at the end of each level you will be able to see how well your particular flower has bloomed, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But that is what's so awesome about it, is if you don't do that well, it gives you a reason to go back and replay the levels, because you want your flowers to bloom. I mean, I don't know, I feel kind of bad, if my flower isn't open up and stuff, and they can be. Your flowers cannot actually open up and be bloomed after you complete the levels. You actually have to collect a certain amount of petals, and so you start wanting to try more, because as you progress through the game, the levels actually do become more difficult. You can actually take damage and lose petals, and so you start really caring about, oddly enough, not touching anything electric, for example, that could make you lose petals. It's just so simple in concept, but so genius in execution. And not only that, this game is just gorgeous from head to toe. The soundtrack is just mesmerizing the entire time. I am just lost with how beautiful the game is. I mean, just look at this here and tell me this isn't pretty. Oh yeah, see? Mesmerizing. But if there's one negative I can give to Flower, it's the controls themselves. You have to use the PlayStation 4 controller, and you have to tilt it left, right, up, down to maneuver the wind around and carry your petals. It doesn't sound too terrible, but it can be really annoying at times, especially when you're trying to maneuver through some obstacles. There's a lot of times I had to pull off some specific stunts to get the flower I wanted, to avoid taking damage, and the controls just seem to sort of fight every step of the way. So that's really the only negative though I have about this game. The rest of it though is very seamless. Gosh, it just flows so well, and it captivates you, man. It really does. And that's really all there is to say about Flower. It's a very simple game that is just beautiful from head to toe. I will say this though, that it is not for everybody. Obviously there's a lot of people that prefer, more action-based games, and Flower is not a game that gives you a lot of action. But I will say this, that if you're someone who has anxiety or has a lot of stress in their lives and just hates dealing with the everyday grind, Flower is the type of game that might just be perfect for you, because it can really help you, and it has helped me de-stress a lot. It is that type of game, just by its nature of its core concept. I highly recommend it for anyone who's looking for a game to help them de-stress. Alright guys, it's time to give this game a letter grade. For those of you that are new here, I give letter grades because that's just the way I am. And when I look at the pros and cons of this game, there is so much to like about the game, but like I did mention, the controls did bog it down a little bit. They just became a little bit annoying at certain times. But with all that said, I love this game. It is one of my all-time favorites actually, which is why I'm still going to give Flower the letter grade of an A-. It's an A in my book. It's one of my all-time favorites, like I said, but it does get an A- because of controls. Having said that, I recommend you try this game. It is just wonderful, and it is a great way to de-stress in your life. Alright guys, hey, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more, be sure to click that subscribe button. It's always nice. I always appreciate having some new subscribers, and I will see you guys on the next Overrated review that I do. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout. And you know what, just for the fun of it, you can enjoy the next 30-40 seconds of just this game and just let it take your mind off of the stress of the world. Later guys.